Hello, my name is Jamie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Unlike any other YouTube channel that showcases Pokemon Go PvP content, mine exclusively showcases Shadow Pokemon. So if you're into that type of content, I'd appreciate if you could like and subscribe.
So, let's get into today's video. In today's video, we are finally going to be taking a look at my rank 7, or maybe rank 8, XL Shadow Poliwrath running its newly buffed Scalds. I did attempt to make this video on the first day of Ultra, but the battles went terribly. And here's a disclaimer, I'm not going to lie, Scalds is definitely not the move you want to run. I do believe Shadow Poliwrath is pretty good, but you do want Ice Punch for that coverage against flyers and grass, and Dynamic Punch because better DPE than Scald for the same energy, and it hits some prime targets such as Melmetal, Registeel, or any steel type, and obviously opposing water types. As if you are running Scald and Ice Punch, for example, you get walled by other water types, and then if you're running Dynamic Punch and Scald like I am, you can't really do a lot against stuff like dragons or flyers. So today's set is going to be in the Open Ultra League. I went with the Open Ultra League in the end because I think the meta is a lot more predictable, and I've put two things in the back that beat both Giratina and Cresselia, which Poliwrath on this moveset has no play against. So without any further ado, let's get into the battles. I will be leading Shadow Poliwrath for the duration of this video, and in this first matchup we pick up a lead against the Swampert. This is kind of neutral-ish. The Earthquake near one-shots, it leaves us deep into the red, and we can obviously do the same with both Dynamic Punch and Scald. And every time I've played this matchup, everyone I've let through has been an Earthquake, everyone I've shielded is a Hydro Cannon. You love to see it. However, we do exchange shields, and we now look to CMP tie on this next move. I'm going to let this go through. This will be the Earthquake, which it is. And you love to see it. The CMP die doesn't register. I see the Fairy typing come in and I immediately switch into my Poison type. If I wasn't so low on health and I had a bit more time to think, I would have switched into Snorlax, as obviously Poison Stings is really not doing a lot. However, we do manage to get the last shield, and I'm going to let this go through. If it's an Ancient Power, we will survive. If it's an Aerial Ace, we'll go down. It's the Aerial Ace. This is fine for us, as I am going to put faith in my shield advantage with Big Snorlax. So I'm going to come in, we're going to commit to licking it down, we're going to build up as much energy as possible, and just on the one before they get to the next Ancient Power or Aerial Ace, we fire off the Body Slam. So back in comes Swampert, and before they get to a move, I'm going to fire off this Body Slam. They're now one mud shot away, so we're going to combo play here into the Poliwrath before we've got time to react, and we'll take them out with this Scald, which is great for us. In the back's a Snorlax. We've got a little bit of residual energy. We are upper shield as well, so it's Shadow Snorlax on Shadow Snorlax. So we're looking to build up to the back-to-back, which we do. So if the opponent hasn't already hit their charge move, this is GG's. This first one's going to get him low. We now CMP tie, so we can shield this up. And from a really rough spot, this superpower is going to be enough to take the game. So GG's to that opponent. Poliwrath coming in clutch in that game. Off to a 1-0 start. Mr. Reliable, the big thick boy Shadow Snorlax, manages to clutch out game 1 for us. So moving straight on into this next battle. We lead our Shadow Poliwrath into an Umbreon. Obviously this is a fairly decent lead for us. However, if they're on the new legacy move of Psyshock, they will be able to do almost half our health. They switch into a Cresselia, so we fire off this Scald as we've got a lot of excess energy. We are hoping for an attack debuff. Unfortunately, no debuff. I look to catch the Grass Knot. The opponent doesn't throw, and we switch into Snorlax. I switch into Snorlax here because obviously it's got a worse matchup against Umbreon, whereas Drapion's got a fairly okay matchup. So we're going to fire off these Body Slams, and as the Cresselia is now been chipped down, we should have no problem winning switch. Another charge move coming through. The opponent actually goes for a Future Sight, which does get us low. However, they are now really low on energy, and as you can see there, we get a nice bit of lag. We miss 3 licks, which puts us behind, so the Cresselia is now able to shield, and you can see that them extra licks would have now put it into a range we can lick down. However, I'm now going to make a really aggressive play. We've got a shield advantage, So I'm going to use this shield advantage and I'll come in and look for the mud shot down and exit this matchup with 100 energy. Obviously this is a Shadow Poliwrath feature, so why not give Shadow Poliwrath the best opportunity to shine. We shield up this charge move and you can see we're at now 100 energy. Let's see what the opponent brings in. Back in comes the Umbreon. We do let a snarl through, which isn't great. Dynamic Punch does half health to this ridiculously bulky Umbreon. You love to see it. And we're already at the second. Second one grabs the shield and we now switch out into Drapion. In the back is a Talonflame. And Talonflame with no shields is essentially a dead Kentucky Fried Chicken, as this thing's got no chance. However, we're going to play it out. We're going to shield this up. I know it's going to be a flame charge, but we're going to shield it up. We're going to over farm. And just as they're about to get to the next flame charge, we're going to fire this move off. This is going to be more than enough to take out the Talonflame. And we're still nice and healthy for the Umbreon in the back. I'm going to tank this first move. I look to get the extra Poison Sting in, which we do. They are on last resort, so Poliwrath really doesn't have much to worry about. This Sludge Bomb is going to get them to almost 0 HP, and then we're just going to have to get to a crunch. However, obviously for the second time in this video, we miss yet more fast moves and we manage to get taken out. But that's fine. Our Poliwrath is going to be able to survive a last resort and yet more lag. Come on game, what are you doing to me? We get loads of lag and we actually lose CMP. So I don't know what's going on here, as obviously Poliwrath has a much higher attack stat than Umbreon. Luckily they are on last resort, as if they was on Psychic or Psyshock, whatever the new legacy move is, would have actually lost that game due to lag. However, off to a 2-0 start. In this next battle, we pick up one of the really good leads, especially running Skull. This is another reason I opted to go for the Open Ultra League, as I see a lot more Charizard, especially on Dragon Breath, obviously for the Giratina, and a lot of Talonflame, which is obviously banned in Remix. So we land the Scald. We can now shield this up. The opponent actually goes for a bait. We go into Snorlax and we draw out the Fighter. Well, Pseudo Fighter, obviously an Obstagoon. So we're going to allow this move to come through. They are running Cross Chop, which does huge damage. However, our superpower will do around 90%. The opposition Obstagoon doesn't have to shield, as it does not one-shot. However, we draw a shield. The opponent now aggressively looks to counter down, even debuff. Their big thick boy holds on. This second superpower does huge damage. I've seen this team quite a lot, so I'm already banking on the fact that there is an Umbreon in the back. With that in mind, I want to save my Poliwrath, so we come in with Drapion, and I'm essentially happy to sack this. I'm going to look to Poison Sting down if possible. Poison Sting is obviously a Mudshot Psycho Cut clone, so it does hardly anything. We're going to tank another charge move, which we do. And now we're going to over farm. Just before they get to their next cross chop, I am going to fire off this Crunch. Crunch comes through and the opponent shields. I am actually going to match shields, as I know the opponent wants to go shields down to land a Brave Bird on the Poliwrath, but I know that this Drapion has the ability to really put a lot of pressure on this Umbreon, as we're not in snarl down range. Sludge Bomb comes through, does huge damage. And now I switch out into the Poliwrath. I'm waiting for the sack. I know they need 2 Incinerates to get to a Brave Bird. However, as this Umbreon is on Psychic, I believe they would be able to take us out with a Flame Charge. So we see the Talonflame come in. We're going to take them out with this Scald. And we're going to outpace this Umbreon to a Dynamic Punch. Will Shadow Dynamic Punch be enough? In the green, take up one of the thickest mon in the league. Unfortunately, it isn't. The opponent froze, so this is obviously going to be the foul play. But even resisted, it is going to have to take him out. They actually do a nice job of undercharge. They get an extra snarl in, but we're only a couple of Poison Stings away from the Crunch. So this Crunch, even resisted, will be enough to take the game. So GG's to that opponent. In that battle, we obviously hard read the team comp, as it is quite a common line. And we managed to play accordingly and bring out the dub. So, moving on into game 4 of the video. We pick up a really nice lead against Melmetal. This is exactly why I said you need to be running Dynamic Punch. Scald would obviously do nice neutral damage, but Dynamic Punch is going to really hurt this tin can. They throw a superpower. You can see here the difference in bulk from Swampert and Poliwrath. The Poliwrath does have better bulk. So like you saw in the previous battle, we look to land the Scald and we actually get the attack drop this time. And we managed to catch the grass knot on Drapion, so everything's going right in this battle so far. The opponent misses one turn, which isn't great. However, we've done that numerous times in this video, and unfortunately, as much as I normally am an advocate for fair play, this game's absolutely trashed at the moment. You just got to roll with it. I don't think it's going to influence this matchup, as that Cresselia is now super low. They fire the Moonblast. There's a nice bit of chip damage. The opponent actually now switches back into Melmetal. This crunch is going to do a nice bit of chip damage. We get the defense drop on them, and we outpace them to this next move. So is the Melmetal prepared to land shield? They don't shield, as obviously they know it's pretty dead weight against their Poliwrath, and in the back they've got a Giratina. So this is essentially going to be a GG's. They obviously think our best Giratina Cresselia answer is Drapion, but little do they know we've got big thick boy Snorlax in the back. So we can allow this to go down here now, and we can bring the thick boy big Shadow Snorlax in, and once again it's going to be Snorlax time to shine. They're on Shadow Claw, so the fast move's doing absolutely nothing. The opponent brings back in Cresselia. This move's going to be the one that hits the hardest in the game. So we shield the Moonblast. We're hoping for no attack drop, which we don't get. And now back in comes the Giratina. We are just going to go for these body slams. They are resisted. The opponent actually chooses to shield, perhaps fearing the earthquake. But this game is pretty much over. We've got a pretty healthy Poliwrath, and Snorlax's Lick are doing super effective damage. The opponent obviously wants to play this game out, so that's not a problem. But I think this game is over. You can see these licks are really adding up, so it's our fast move pressure against their charge move pressure. I'm going to shield this up, hoping to try and get them to top left. They don't top left, so I'm going to fire off another resisted body slam. We get them now into Scald range, and as is a Shadow Poliwrath feature, we switch into Poliwrath, and this Scald, even resisted, is good enough to take the match. So GG's to that opponent, and we're somehow off to a 4-0 start. Let's see if we can manage a perfect 5-0 with Shadow Poliwrath in a triple Shadow team in the Open Ultra League. And we pick up one of the worst possible leads. We pick up a lead against the Charmer. They do stay in. I'm imagining they'll switch out eventually, which they do. And they bring in an Articuno. So Snorlax Articuno is kind of neutral-ish, but obviously with the debuff effect, Articuno does normally win it. However, they have given us a nice energy lead. We managed to get off 2 body slams before we're even debuffed, which is great for us. You can see that now, already down to around 33% health. We don't need to shield this up as we will survive. And now Snorlax is going to put massive shield pressure on this Articuno. You can see I fire off this body slam absolutely last minute, so if they don't shield, there's absolutely no health on my Snorlax to be farmed. Which is great, so one charm takes us out. And now we've managed to flip this opening matchup. So we're going to wait out our timer, and we are now going to bring in our Drapion. I know this is a size shock, but when you're facing Charmers, you need to shield something. And these Charms are really shredding us. They do hit for neutral. And in the back, they've got a Giratina. So like I said at the start of the video, I think the correct moveset is Dynamic Punch and Ice Punch. But as we haven't got Ice Punch, this matchup is rough for us. I switch out to save the Drapion, as that is obviously going to be our win con, and I switch into the Poliwrath. We can tank these moves, no problem. However, we can't hit him for anything but resisted damage. The only thing that hits him for neutral, ironically, is our Mud Shot, which obviously doesn't really do anything. I am hoping for an attack drop with this Scald. We draw the shield. The opponent obviously is fearing that we're running Ice Punch. I'm going to let this move go through. I know I will survive. I'm expecting the swap at some stage. I see the swap. I hit the Scald. And you love to see it. A 3-turn move in Charm registers before our attack comes through. I'm not entirely sure that's how the game's supposed to work. You can snipe with something like 1-turn move like Dragon Breath. However, it is what it is. So we're going to play on here. Now the win con for us is to get this Crunch debuff. And I'm going to have to commit to the Poison Sting down and have a charge move ready for that Giratina. The Giratina is in crunch range. So I look to Poison Sting down, and unfortunately we simultaneously KO. So if I was 1 extra Poison Sting there, we would have had the crunch to win the match. But overall, I can't really complain. We managed to have 4-1 with Shadow Poliwrath in a triple Shadow team in the Open Ultra League. We had some really exciting battles, and like I've said at various points throughout this video, I don't think it is the right moveset for Ultra. That's either Remix or Open. I think you want Ice Punch and Dynamic Punch, but obviously as this is a channel dedicated to showcasing Shadow Pokemon, we're going to showcase the Shadow Pokemon with the buff move. So if you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate if you smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, and I will see you all in the next one.